KRAZTV and a book review. I saved this one for last. That's right. The Trees of North America by the Audubon Society. What a great book. National Audubon Society presents Trees of North America, the complete identification reference to trees with full color photographs displaying leaf-shaped bark, flowers, fruit, updated range maps, and conservation status. It was I'm trying to see who well, it doesn't have any editor or any person in here. So from the National Geographic Society, a completely new and definitive guide to the trees of North America, the most comprehensive, authoritative, and up-to-date work of its kind. Now, in here they show little maps up the top. If the tree was native to America, there's many that do not have maps. That's because they were brought from China and other places. So some of the relocated trees in the world, we have many in there. But this is a sweet book. I mean, it just goes, each page has a picture of the fruit, flowers, habitat ranges, and if they're poisonous, they tell you too. So some of these things like rhododendrons and azaleas, are almost all of them are poisonous. So there's classes or groups or families that almost all of them. There's a couple of poisonous palms, but not many. All the apple trees. Now these are large trees, so shrubs like blueberries and all that don't count. They did have one called the tobacco tree, and it's pretty big, they show, but it's also poisonous. I mean, it's so full of nicotine and some other things in it that if you smoke it, you'll darn near die. But it covers every region of the white spruces, tamaracks, firs, and there's some really prolific ones. Then there's tyons, which are native, but they're very rare locations like in California. Some of the Channel Islands, and all of that in California. Pacific crabapple. I didn't know that that was up that far north. Prairie crabapple. Pin oaks, a large number of pin oaks. This is a super. Now, you know, sometimes I say these books are such a good reference that I'd like to buy one. Well, here's another one. This is a keeper. It's a little bit heavy and thick, but I mean, it's got every tree in the United States. So, no matter where you went with this, you could probably get a good handle on some of the trees there. They call the understory. So the higher trees and then things that grow beneath it are called the understory. And they're in swamps, woodlands, grasslands, high mountains, alpine to desert. It just goes on and on. It's just, well, every tree that I'm not sure if they might have missed some, but I went through every one of these. It took me a few days because I had to look at each picture and some of them I said, well, I've seen that tree. And other ones I thought, well, I've seen it, but then I see where it's from. No, I was never up there in Sitka, Alaska. I went to Alaska, but the trees they showed there, well, I didn't see them. There's fuzzy balls and flowers and fruits and now some things that are poisonous, only the outer part of the pulp around it is good to eat. If you eat the seed, it'll kill you. A lot of these have cyanide or high amounts of oxalic acid, so you do have to be careful what you're doing. And always consult and get a handle on things. You know, it's not that hard to save yourself by don't do something stupid. You know. So this is a good guide to help you through and well, out of about 8 trees that you see, you might say you know 1 or 2, and all the rest of them are in this book because, well, they just weren't looked at, and some of them didn't have commercial uses for things like big pines and all that were used, but some trees were scrubby and hard to work with. They said that one of the cedars is so refined that it can be carved either way. It's used for pencils. So the wood can be, it has a grain perhaps, but it doesn't doesn't resist the knife when you're whittling it or whatever. You can cut across every way on a cedar. So that's an interesting. There's so many little facts, and there's some astounding facts that some of these trees, you know, the sequoias and the giant redwoods, 280 to 325 feet. Amazing. Some old bristlecones. There's one bristlecone, they say, in the world that's 9,000. They're hiding it out because they don't want anybody to get it. A lot of these bristlecones are 2,000 years old, and they're in California. It's just amazing, amazing story about trees. And it's just, well, just so many. There's so many families, so they go by families. And solanaries, laminaries, aquifoliates, myrtles, just pinnalis, all of them. Those are the main families, and then the binomial names of the genus and species. So get the book like we did. We got this one at the Tucson Public Library, but like I said, I don't know, it's probably a $30 book. But, you know, it's never going to change other than adding to the data, and they've done just about all the gathering that they could do for these 500 trees. Well, there's quail outside, and they're waiting on me, so I'm going to take off here in a minute, but from the National Audubon Society. I guess they have their own printing press and all. So, anyway, learn the books. It's not a big deal to learn some of the taxonomies. 2,500 full-color photographs, 540 species with over 500 range maps, arranged according to the latest Angiosperm phylogeny Group 4 classification system. Conservation status included for each species, as designated by the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species, and a detailed information of the ecology role of trees, identification methods including a guide to their leaf types, tree evolution, threats to trees and forest, and more. And essays by leading scholars in each field provide holistic insight into the world of trees. Can't go wrong with this. It's a keeper. Thanks for watching KRAZ-TV, and come back for all of our other book reviews. Right now we're doing mineral shows at KRAZ-TV.